Welcome to the deep dive. We've got quite a stack of your sources here today,
Yeah, articles, research notes.
all zeroed in on one thing.
Man,
What's happening right now in the dizzying world of AI?
busying is definitely the word for it.
And our mission in this deep dive, it's really to try and cut through the noise.
Hmm.
We're going to unpack the most important nuggets, the key insights from all this material, basically giving you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed about the latest developments.
Which is crucial because it feels like the AI landscape isn't just changing quickly. It's almost exploding outward.
Exactly. Across so many different fronts all at once.
Absolutely. These sources, they show rapid movement everywhere. I mean, from really deep technical shifts in how AI models are built
Right.
to how they're actually being applied in the real world,
Mm.
plus the big policy debates, and even, the really personal impact AI is starting to have.
It's a lot to track.
It really is.
So let's jump in. On the technical side, these sources seem to highlight significant progress in what happens after an AI model's initial foundation is laid.
Right, that's what the sources call post-training for large language models, LLMs. They specifically point to things like supervised fine-tuning SFT and these preference alignment techniques.
Like RLHF or DPO.
Exactly, reinforcement learning from human feedback, or direct preference optimization. The key insight here, I think, is that these aren't just minor tweaks. They are absolutely crucial steps
Crucial for what?
to get those raw models to actually produce reliable, helpful, preferred responses.
Hmm.
It's basically how you shape the model's personality and its behavior.
Okay. And the quality of the data used in this post-training phase, the sources really stress that.
Paramount, yeah. It needs to be accurate, incredibly diverse and complex. And while, sure, synthetic data is common,
Uh-huh.
they emphasize that human input is still vital. Absolutely vital for ensuring that quality and getting the model to align with, human values and preferences.
Makes sense. It's not just how they're trained, though. We're seeing new, powerful models emerging constantly, right?
Yeah.
And globally.
Definitely. One source highlights Japan's highest performing LLM, Shisa V2-405B, which is interesting because it shows major players emerging outside the usual centers like Silicon Valley.
And Mistral AI keeps popping up, too.
Yes, they're making waves.
Mm.
Their activity, it's detailed in these sources. They've launched CodeStroll Embed.
Which is for code, specifically.
Exactly, a specialized model just for code.
Yeah.
And the insight there is this move towards AI tools designed for very specific domains.
Yeah.
The goal is better understanding and retrieval across programming languages, not just, general text stuff.
Okay, specialization.
And Mistral also has this guide out on their Agents API. This lets developers build sort of modular agents for particular tasks.
Like Lego bricks, maybe. Each good at one job.
That's a great analogy, yeah. Like building an AI system out of Legos. The example given is a math-solving agent that actually uses a code interpreter to do the calculations.
Mm.
And this points to a really powerful trend. AI systems moving beyond just single chatbots into these complex architectures. Systems made up of specialized tools all working together.
That idea of specialized agents, it leads quite nicely into something else mentioned, agent-based modeling, ABM.
Right, which is seeing a bit of a resurgence, actually, thanks to partnerships with AI.
So ABM simulates individual agents, people, companies.
Could be anything. People, companies, even countries interacting based on certain rules. The insight is that by simulating these interactions from the bottom up, you can see system-level behavior emerge, stuff that traditional top-down models might completely miss.
And how does AI enhance that?
Well, the sources explain techniques like reinforcement learning can improve the behavioral rules of those individual agents.
Yeah.
Makes the simulations more realistic.
Okay.
What's particularly insightful, I think, is that ABM focuses on causal mechanisms, not just correlations in data. So it can be much more data efficient than a lot of these data-hungry machine learning models.
Interesting. More efficient and transparent.
Yeah. Exactly. Valuable for policy analysis because you can see why the simulation produced a certain outcome. They even mentioned efforts to build a global macroeconomic simulation using this kind of approach.
Wow. Simulating the ripple effects of a new trade policy or an energy transition from the ground up, that feels genuinely powerful.
It does. And connecting this to the bigger picture, this drive for sophisticated modeling and specialized agents, it's leading to AI systems that can handle increasingly complex tasks.
We're seeing glimpses, right, like Google Jules.
Yeah, described as an AI coding agent designed to work like an autonomous developer. The idea is it handles tasks asynchronously, clones your code repository, and just gets to work.
An autonomous coding agent.
Yeah.
That's moving things along quickly.
It is. It's beyond just suggesting code snippets. It's potentially acting on the code base. And the sources also mention OpenAI's Codex, their cloud-based agent, is rolling out more widely too.
This immediately brings up a critical question the sources grapple with: security risks.
Absolutely. The material gives a pretty stark warning about enabling internet access for these kinds of agents.
What kind of vulnerabilities?
They highlight specific ones like prompt injection, where a malicious command is hidden inside what looks like normal input,
Right.
and data exfiltration, where the agent could be tricked into leaking sensitive information. There's even a concrete example cited of a hidden command in a bug report designed to steal your latest code commit.
Oof, not good.
No. So the sources propose mitigations, obviously. Keep internet access off by default. Use strict domain allow lists if you need external connections.
But even that's not foolproof.
They caution that even seemingly safe lists, like for common code dependencies, could hide risks. The overall insight seems to be, even with powerful automation, security vigilance needs to increase, not decrease.
Makes sense. And it's not just in coding, right? These specialized agents are appearing elsewhere. There's a fascinating account from a Reddit post about building agents for financial institutions.
Yeah, over 50 custom agents. What's insightful about that example is that in these highly regulated, risk-averse places like banking.
Right, like KYC checks, fraud monitoring.
Exactly. The successful applications weren't these huge, complex, general AIs. They were simple, reliable automations solving one specific problem really well.
So precision and measurable impact over broad capabilities.
Often, yes, especially in enterprise settings.
Yeah.
It emphasizes that reliability is key.
Then there's the other end of the spectrum, a personal Jarvis-like agent, nicknamed Gappy.
Right. Someone using an agent to automate complex, multi-step workflows across lots of different applications. Things like sending emails, scheduling meetings, summarizing reports, tracking competitors, analyzing product analytics, spotting bugs, even drafting initial pitch decks.
That sounds incredibly useful.
It does, but the core insight from the user wasn't just the tech capability. It was the human skill they learned how to delegate effectively to the agent.
Ah, so it's about interaction.
Exactly. Treating it like a junior colleague, breaking down tasks, providing context, building on past interactions. It's not just the AI's intelligence, it's the human skill in directing it.
That need for effective human-AI interaction, it definitely extends to prompting LLMs too, doesn't it? Like that analysis of the UK Technology Secretary Peter Kyle using ChatGPT.
Yeah, that was interesting. A freedom of information request getting chatbot logs, that sets a precedent.
And the analysis looked at a specific prompt.
Right, where the secretary asked why AI adoption is slow in UK small businesses. And the insight there is just a really clear demonstration of LLM limitations.
What limitations specifically?
They have knowledge cutoffs.
Yeah.
They don't have current specific market data to answer that kind of question accurately or insightfully. Asking for definitions of quantum, fine, that's static knowledge. But asking for up-to-the-minute insights on dynamic market trends based on potentially old training data, it just gives you generic, pretty unhelpful responses.
So what's the better way to use them according to this source?
Treat the LLM less like an oracle or a search engine and more like a brainstorming partner. The source calls it an electric bicycle for the mind.
I like that.
Yeah. Good for generating initial ideas, identifying potential stakeholders, suggesting research paths. Especially powerful if you combine it with tools that can access recent data. Integrating creativity with timely info.
That critical perspective on current AI capabilities, it's echoed by some developers highlighted in the sources too, isn't it? Expressing frustration with AI skeptics.
Yeah, some see skeptics as being, well, the source says nuts, for resisting useful tools that boost productivity. Their argument is basically, engineers have always been responsible for the code they merge. Whether a human wrote it or an AI generated it shouldn't change that.
And the automation point.
They point out automation is just inherent to software. We automate other people's jobs constantly and call it productivity gains. From their viewpoint, worrying about AI taking jobs is just the latest version of what happened to, say, travel agents or stock market floor brokers.
A long-standing trend, just accelerated maybe.
Perhaps. And this brings us squarely into the broader societal impacts, which several sources really dive into.
Like the rise of AI companion.
Exactly, a major focus. The sources cite research on platforms like Replica, where users are forming genuinely deep emotional bonds with their AI counterparts.
It's moving beyond just being a tool.
Seems so. They remember past chats, adapt to you, mirror your style, even engage proactively. They offer this perceived judgment-free space that can be incredibly appealing.
Mm.
And this social presence can foster a really strong sense of usefulness, especially for people experiencing loneliness.
The sources mention younger generations, Gen Z, as maybe particularly vulnerable.
They do. Reports of lower confidence, increased feelings of disconnection that can make the allure of an infinitely interested, non-judgmental AI friend seem very powerful.
So what's the main risk they highlight? Is it just dependency?
Dependency is a concern, yes, but it goes deeper. It's a potential sort of atrophy of the muscles you need for resilience, for critical thinking, for engaging with messy, authentic human relationships. Yeah. A warning against, as one source puts it, capitulating to the will of the algorithm, letting ease and algorithmic validation replace the actual effort required for growth.
That leads into a pretty philosophical angle they discuss. This idea of cyber existentialism.
Right, where the virtual increasingly substitutes for the physical and the real. The worry is living a life based on simulacra, getting the illusion of connection and understanding without the genuine vulnerability, the conflict, the hard-won growth from real human interaction.
Wow, that's deep. They even connect it to spiritual development.
They do, suggesting that algorithmic affirmation from an AI might replace what one source calls the slow work of sanctification, that gradual personal refinement through challenge and real connection.
Replaced with instant gratification from tailored feedback.
Exactly. Potentially hindering real personal growth. And on a physical level, too, they warn that seamless, immersive AI companions could lead people to retreat from embodied experience.
Losing the valuable scars from wrestling with real people in real places.
Precisely. Those difficult, unscripted interactions that historically foster creativity, resilience, a grounded sense of self.
So the call to action isn't just stop using AI companions.
No, it's more about steering their development and use ethically. Human-computer interaction researchers, designers, they should focus on building AI companions that actually foster intellectual autonomy.
Like a Socratic mentor, maybe, asking probing questions.
Yeah, rather than just providing comfort or replacing effort and resisting anthropomorphism that just perpetuates harmful stereotypes.
Okay.
Ultimately, the sources argue the most profound interface isn't the tech itself, it's the human using it. The goal should be tech that genuinely augments humanity.
A servant, not a master.
A servant, not a master. A companion for shared experiences, maybe, but not a confessor for your deepest vulnerabilities. A mirror for reflection, but not something that completes you or fills all your needs.
This tension, it seems to run through everything we've discussed. The drive for efficiency, profit, advancement versus this growing awareness of societal risks, jobs, security, relationships, thinking.
It's a consistent thread, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you see it playing out very explicitly in things like the UK copyright debate mentioned in the sources.
Right. Media companies pushing back against AI firms using copyrighted material for training without permission.
Exactly. BBC, Sky, others arguing the current plans could basically scrape the value out of the creative sector, making it unsustainable. They want an opt-in rule. AI firms need permission first.
And the government is negotiating.
Offering concessions, it seems, to avoid legislative defeats. It highlights that real-world struggle, balancing rapid AI development with existing rights, industries, economic models.
It's not just a legal squabble, then. It raises fundamental questions about value creation, distribution, whose interests get prioritized when we shape policy around this stuff.
Absolutely fundamental questions.
So looking across all these sources, it's just incredibly clear how dynamic this whole AI landscape is.
Breakneck speed seems like an understatement sometimes. Developments across tech, applications, societal impact, policy, constant.
Which means staying truly informed requires constantly looking at new information, doesn't it? The state of play from even a few months ago might already be out of date.
You really have to keep up. New breakthroughs, new company strategies, evolving regulations. It changes so fast.
So what does all this mean for you, listening to this, trying to navigate this rapidly changing world?
Well, the sources really lay bare that fundamental tension we talked about. This accelerating push for AI's speed, efficiency, profit, versus the increasingly urgent awareness of potential downsides.
The impact on jobs, new security frontiers, those deep changes to human connection, critical thinking.
Right. So the question becomes, how do you think about this? How do you navigate it? How do you work to ensure that technology serves humanity rather than the other way around? Especially as AI becomes, more and more integrated into daily life, into relationships.
It's a huge challenge. No easy answers.
None at all. And one that these sources make pretty clear we all need to be grappling with actively.